Let's get into the pussy.
Welcome to the Filthy Frank Show. If you're feeling suicidal, you've come to the right place. Cause I wanna fucking kill myself as well. Fuck you, I hate all of you.
Hi, here again with another No Man's Sky survival mode episode. This time it's episode 2. Funny enough, the last video was done in one go, but here we continue back at where we left off last week, still fixing our craft or spaceship. We still need to fix a few modules before we can be up and running. So we're just walking around on this planet looking for resources. We are also picking up resources to make a signal booster, so that we can find a habitable base or / planet base to set as our initialized where we initialize as our home planet. So in this video, this is where you can see us just gathering resources, just getting ready for that long journey. Why I want the home base on the planet that I initiated on? It's because to me, it should be the place where you started should be your home planet. Yeah, you can set your base on any planet you want, but it gives me an opportunity to give me time to explore this planet and also journey out to the center of this galaxy. In this video, this was an hour-long video, but we've cut it down to roughly 25 minutes. Basically in half. What happened is, you'll see it. To me, it shouldn't happen when you. It shouldn't happen when you're starting out, but it happened. When I was setting out into space, a pirate intercepted me. Really? Okay, I can. Here we're setting up a signal, and of course we're starting our path to the Atlas. But what happened was, instead of one interdiction, there was 4 pirates, and it was impossible. It was impossible for us to either escape or defend ourselves. And here we're just searching for habitable bases, which it has found it, and it's not far from where we landed, so we'll set off in our craft, and that'll be the first stop before we take our adventures into space. But really, when you're starting out, it shouldn't really have 4 pirates at once. So in such a span of just starting out, you should be able to get get conflicted by 4 pirates after the tutorial missions. That's okay, that's part of the game. But when you're starting out 4 pirates, come on. Here we landed at the base that we want, and we just claim it effectively. We for the next few jumps, because the tutorial in this tutorial, you shouldn't be allowed to do this in the tutorial, but you can. But remember, you can't, because there's in the space station there is a warp door, I would call them, that allows you to jump between the station you're in to the base. You can't do that for 4 or 5 jumps when you're starting out, which I sort of understand, because it says, I think it says when you try and get to it, you need to be a more experienced pilot that has experience in jumping between systems. And I think roughly after you do the monolith part of the tutorial, I think after that it unlocks it. But here we're going to the I think it's that beacon that takes us to the blueprint for the jump drive. And here is the conflict we came across that we couldn't win. We literally couldn't win, so we basically died. But luckily we started at where we started out. And of course, no, the spacecraft did, but we was spawned 15 minutes away from that craft, so we had to do that walk again. But luckily I cut that bit out. It was just me walking to the spacecraft and just picking up resources. But you know what? I think it's that's different, and you get a message every time you die. I think that's the difference between survival and normal mode. Normal mode, you die and you just get spawned to the closest save, and your spacecraft and all is okay, and all your resources are okay. But if you're in survival mode, when you die, the resources on that craft or on your backpack, depending how you die, they just disappear. They do in normal, but you can pick them back up again, because it says, "Oh, go here if you want to pick up your resources." But in survival, you got no option like that. So in resources terms, you have to start again. Here it's us trying to find a base, which gets us the blueprint for the warp drive. But in survival, if you died in the spacecraft, the resources in that spacecraft, it disappears. But if you die when you're walking or stuff, exploring like that, only the stuff in your backpack disappears permanently. And of course the difference between survival mode and permadeath is permadeath you only get one chance. But that's okay, that's a challenge that we'll one day take if we do continue this series. But yeah, I think here we do jump, I think twice in this video. The first one is, I think, going to the monolith. I'm not sure, but I think one gets the gets another. No, yeah, we get a recipe along the way, which is part of the tutorial. We go to a manufacturing factory, and I think it's either you get a recipe for making warp cells, or something to do with the warp recipes, as we did mention last episode. But if you want to start out, I would recommend you start your home base at your initial planet. And I think I've recorded a few episodes ready to be edited and all that stuff, and it's the planet we claimed, or the base we claimed. There's trees, and the part of the warp cell recipe, or making a warp cell, is we need to do certain steps. You got like roughly 4 steps, making different parts that makes a warp cell. And the first ingredient, you require like 100 carbon, and trees are effectively pure carbon in this game. So the planet, to me, I would consider is resource rich. The second richest resource is, it looked like either plutonium or thamium-9. That's okay. But we do, throughout that series, really be short on plutonium and thamium at times, and sometimes that's mostly some of what causes deaths and all that stuff. We are trying to reduce the number of deaths, and I think the recent recording I've done was a pain in the backside, because we landed on a planet which, you didn't need to worry about your shields because it was a perfect planet, but it lacked plutonium. It did have a bit here and there, it was rare, but the problem is, it was the Sentinels. Basically, they're the police of the whole game. If you go on the bad side, then you know about it. I was on a high security, or the status of the Sentinels on that planet was a high security, meaning there was on high alert to see if there's any foreigners. They would just either shoot or be alerted by them. And I kept dying. I think I died 3 or 4 times, either from Sentinels or dying of. And that's another thing. It was even lacking thamium-9, which was vital for my life support. And I was either dying from the lack of topping up my life support, or I was dying from Sentinels killing me. And I realised why it was. I realised why they was killing me on that planet. Why it was a high security. It's because it had a rare resource that they were protecting. Of course, Sentinels think that's a precious resource. And of course, even if you grabbed one of them sources, they would be on. You would get a 3-star wanted level if you was in Grand Theft Auto. Here we're approaching a manufacturer factory. These, when you go up to them, you've got to shoot the door down. But the trouble is, you have to, when you're shooting the door down, it alerts Sentinels no matter what level of security the planet is on Sentinel level. You'll alert the Sentinels no matter what. Here again, we get pirates approaching, but this time it's only 2, and luckily, on the skin of our teeth, we fight them off, which is okay. But we do die a few times again in this video. I think only one more time, but that was, I think, another pirate approach, interdiction I would call it, if it was an Elite Dangerous, it would be interdiction, which I think that would be the right word for it. But they say Pirate's Approach. But we have cut a few bits here and there to make it look neater or cleaner. Sometimes we've edited some of the menus out, and of course, as you might have noticed, I did unlock some of my pre-order bonuses, or all my pre-order bonuses. As you might have noticed with a different ship, you would go, oh, hey, you had a red ship moment, just moments ago. Why is he? It's because I think I just cut out 10 seconds of me just doing that, because I didn't really deem that as good quality content, or content deemed to be shown, because I wouldn't consider it cheating unless it's in permadeath mode. I have tried it in permadeath mode, but if I want to do an official one, I'll do it in there. But I think during this series as well, we do realise that we do run out of slots that we can fill, or we outgrow our ship, because we're bringing in so much resources for like either making money or making warp drives, that we just run out of useful spaces or outgrow our ship, and we do buy a new ship later on. We're breaking into, and we just make it anyway as well. I've currently, because there's these Atlas stations, as of now, I have, this is giving you how far we are, this video is far behind on, we're roughly 6 stations in front in the Atlas stations. And I think Atlas stations, you have to jump 5 or 6 times to get to each station. So that gives you some indications on how many episodes we might have recorded ahead of time. So this is not, oh, I've recorded it yesterday and just talking now. I've batched stuff, because I don't think I can do one a day because of my shitty internet, and it took 12 hours for the last one to upload, so I'm trying to make them as short but as long as possible. But here we're just gathering some plutonium, which is vital for us, even though we realised that since we landed at a manufacturing factory, which most state bases like that do have a port where the craft lands automatically, and it's basically a way to get a free launch. Because each launch, if you didn't land at these ports, you would have to put into the launch module 200 plutonium each time. And I think that's depending on ship, because I think some ships are more efficient at doing launches. Because that's just experienced through the normal mode. Sadly, when I name these planets and all stuff, when I name the planets, systems, or creatures or anything, sadly the keyboard doesn't show. That's why you'll see every time I name a ship, or not name a ship, name a planet or system, you'll just see a pause on the screen, and then it changes. That's PlayStation 4 for you, but I might think of buying a capture card one day, and I'll probably even get 1080p quality after this. but I don't know if that would bode well with my internet. But of course we encounter pirates again, but of course we die this time. But luckily, and we get another message, but we spawn back at the station where we landed. No, I think so. I don't think we landed, but anyway. But we're spawned back to the station. So to like buy suspension fluid. That's what I think it's the suspension gel. Well, yes, suspension fluid. To make one of them, even though I don't have the recipe at the moment, that's where I have to buy them. You have to gather 100 carbon for each unit or each item. What to say? But I think during what we do is we made so many of these suspension fluids that we just quickly outgrew our ship, and we also got the recipe or the blueprint for making these key cards that you get called Atlas keys or Atlas cards or something, or Atlas bypasses, and that gives you a lot of benefits. And one of the benefits is these big capsule containers that you see next. I think you've seen them where sometimes at this save points on bases or something like that, and you can unlock them and you get resources. And these capsules usually have suspension gel or any item related to the process of either making a warp cell, or if you're lucky enough, you can also get a warp cell. So once you get an Atlas card or Atlas pass, it's Atlas Pass V1. There's 3 versions, and each one has a different property or access. The version 1 allows you to open these capsules, and I recommend you open each one because you could potentially get free warp jumps. No matter what, I would recommend it. But this is the second episode. We're just going to the monolith, and this is part of the tutorial again. And what this does is points us into the right direction of the first Atlas station, and after that, finding each Atlas station is automatic. Once you find one Atlas station and then open the galaxy map again, it automatically finds one again. Until you get 10, then there's no more Atlas stations. So you just what to do next is to go to the center. What we're currently doing is just gathering some words of the local dialect. Not dialect. There's 3 dialects or languages to learn, and I think there is a 4th one called that is the Atlas language, but that's never really properly there. The Atlas language isn't properly there. But we get a free warp cell to get. It's just get your home free card or something like that. But sadly, this is the end of the episode. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is